Welcome to Spiritual Network Connections, where connections are sacred and soul meets community. Each week, we bring together people, stories, teachings, and events from spiritual communities across the country, from Charleston to Portland, Austin to Seattle, and everywhere in between. Whether you come to learn, to connect, or simply to listen with an open heart, this space is yours. Take a breath and begin.
Welcome, everybody, to the Spiritual Network Connection podcast. You've got Carmen, your host, and Richie, your host, and our guest is Licie. And today we're going to learn a bit about her and what she's about and how she's showing up in the world, which is so exciting. So I'm going to share with everybody her bio so it gives us a foundation and a place to start from. Good? Miss Dr. It's not even, well, it is Miss, but you're officially Dr. Licie Melton, is a quantum hypnotherapist, a spiritual guide, and intuitive healer whose work bridges the worlds of science and the soul. With a PhD in organizational leadership, a background in psychology and human resources, and extensive certifications in quantum healing hypnosis technique, also known as QHHT, Reiki, and energy medicine, Licie blends practical wisdom with higher consciousness to help others reconnect with their true selves and release what no longer serves them. That's so beautiful. She is the founder of Quantum Healing Heart, where she guides clients through deeply transformative experiences using quantum hypnotherapy, energy alignment, and emotional healing. Her recently published book, The Art of Letting Go, A Journey to Self-Healing, offers a powerful roadmap for releasing trauma, breaking free from limited beliefs, and returning to inner peace. She's a Brazilian American, mother, veteran, and spiritual seeker. Licie is on a mission to awaken the healer within each of us and to help others remember who they truly are. I just think you're amazing. All of that, you are just amazing, and I love your heart of service and what it is that you're about and what it is you're up to. So that kind of launches us into just talking about your story. What I'm fascinated, I love your story and your background, and I want people to get that real feel and flavor and taste of who you are, where you've come from, and that journey that's brought you to this healer's heart and wanting to help others. You've had some really fascinating awakening moments. And so let's see if we can't weave that story all together to create this. So I'm going to ask you, what inspired you to start your journey into this spiritual and holistic field after you tell us a little bit about where you've come from and how you got to there?
That sounds great. Well, I am from Brazil, born and raised. I came here in the year 2000. And growing up in Brazil, I grew up on an island called Florianopolis, and I was surrounded always by very holistic people. We had a lot of hippies. We also had a lot of people that were very holistic in terms of like they would go off and do, you know, fires in the mountains and ground and different things, and everybody was very into the herbs and natural remedies and such. My mom was very into that as well. So I've always really been into the holistic side of things just because of my upbringing. But when I came to the United States, I lost a lot of that because here is very materialistic. People are not as into holistic medicine. It wasn't
Right.
until I was about 18. I was always very into like touching people and feeling their energies. So I became a massage therapist when I was 18, right out of high school.
Wow.
And that's when I really started feeling people's energies, and I could feel when somebody had negative energy, and I felt like it transferred into me. I didn't know how to control it at that time. I was very young. And so I did that for years and loved being a massage therapist. I was very good at it. But I also had a desire to do other things. And so I dove into the military. I got into the military, into the Navy. And I was Navy hospital corpsman, but I was attached to the Marine Corps. And so what that means it's like a combat medic. And so I wanted to again be in medicine, be helping people, and so it was the best job I've ever had. I loved being in it. It was amazing. I know Marines are crazy. People don't know how crazy they are. But it was fun. It was so wonderful being out there with them. I went to Iraq in 2009 to 2010. And when I came back, my back was hurt, and so I had to get out. I was medically discharged. And I went into, like, okay, I'm going to do studies, I guess, because I can't do anything with my back the way it is. I started having chronic back pain. It was horrific. I was in and out of the emergency room with so much pain, seeing every specialist out there. And so I finally just gave up and I sat on the couch and I went back to school online. And I had to give up on my idea of being in medicine and taking care of people. I said, well, I'm going to have to do something else. So I did a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in human resources, and then I got a job with the government doing human resources. Well, in 2017, when I met my husband, things got shaken up for me. I was doing human resources for a long time. And in 2017, I met my husband, he's my twin flame. And what happened when I met him is it caused this major energetic just explosion between us. And it sparked a spiritual awakening. And so, I was always into the woo-woo stuff before, but it was never like an awakening. It was just interest, and I knew it was a thing, but I just never got into it until that massive spiritual awakening. The energy between us was just insane. It sparked everything all around me. And I started, kind of diving into it a little bit more after that. But then last November 6th, I woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I had another major spiritual awakening. And that's
This was
when
last November?
last
That just,
November,
okay.
last November, November 6th, I woke up and it was like, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, just, it's like everything expanded, everything all of a sudden happened. And it was like all of the answers were there and that I needed to learn everything about everything. No, it was absolutely an insane experience. And my husband was like, "What is happening to you?" And I was like, "I have no idea, but I feel like all this information is coming into my brain." And I was learning in an exponential rate. I was learning at just a very fast rate to where my brain hurt, but I couldn't stop. And so I learned QHHT. I was led to learn by, and I would say my spirit guides, or by God. I was led to learn QHHT. I was led to Dolores Cannon, who I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So then I did QHHT level 1. I did QHHT level 2. I did, every Reiki out there that I could possibly get my hands on. I learned different modalities in Reiki with energy work. I did regular hypnotherapy courses, and I got certified in so many different things just in a short period of time. It's insane what happened with that spiritual awakening, because I literally dove into everything and everything stuck. And for me, that never happens. I have to like read it 3 times and try to like remember things. This
That's
time,
how
no.
I am.
Yeah.
And that stopped? You were just able to retain it?
I retained everything. It's like everything came
that's
in
magic.
and it just stayed. And I'm like, what is happening? And I was just like, I was able to just like pass all the tests and the quizzes and everything with flying colors because everything was sticking so quickly. I
That's
was
when
able
you
to
know that there's something special going on.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
it was
Your brain chemistry
insane.
changed or something.
It
Yeah.
did. It was again November 6th. I
Yeah, what a
remember
crazy day for
clearly.
that to
It
happen.
was a crazy day. I woke up and it was like, and so then I heard from multiple spiritual people that there's a mass awakening happening. And so that's when I learned about the mass awakenings, is that there are so many people out there right now waking up,
Hmm.
and they're waking up like that. They're waking up to the truth and to like just the expansion of their consciousness.
Awesome.
What would you
What an
say to
amazing
them?
story. And it's like just
Thank you.
Yeah.
recently
Yeah, it just
in the story
happened.
right now.
Yeah, like I said, I've been into
That's
holistic
exciting.
stuff all my life, but just that short period of time is when I was basically, I wouldn't say forced, but I was led hard to do what I'm doing right now.
This
There's a
island
part
you
of
came from sounds amazing. Like I'd want
It's
to visit that place
incredible.
now.
Yeah,
yeah,
Because
right? An
it's
island, yes.
incredible.
wow.
What a great
They call it
foundation.
the Magic Island. Poets, had poetry for the island and everything, and then some of that poetry is in different places on the island too, where you can see it. It's quite amazing. It's very magical.
And when you were started the massage stuff, you were sensing the energy. That's what you said, right? Like
Yeah,
you just didn't really understand what was going on, but you had this skill. Just
had
it was never
no
taught to you
idea.
on the island. You just started.
Mm-mm.
Ah,
No, none of that was never taught to me. It was just something that came to me all the time, and the feel. I always felt people with my hands, and so I was always touching everybody and rubbing them, and I couldn't
mm-hmm.
understand why, but everybody said I had magic hands, and so then I
Awesome.
went to massage school like right out of high school because I had to be 18, and I just felt like I had to do it. So
Well, you're a healer, obviously. So okay.
yeah,
Awesome. There's a part of me that in your story of having these two awakenings that I'm absolutely intrigued and love it. And then I think back to I've taken 15 years to get to where I'm at. And I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't I just wake up and have a mass awakening? I mean, that is so cool. And yet it's not fair. But I love it. I love that it's happening for people. And
It could still
I'm not
happen to you more. You'll just start floating away or something.
but
right.
you're so important in this mass awakening because you're that teacher for the people that are
Hmm.
just waking up like me, that are able to provide all of this information that you have been gathering for 15 years.
And it's really true. We all have our own path and our own way that we come to whatever, and whatever our agreement is, whatever our contracts are with whomever, the reason that it took me this long to get here, right? There's been so many things that I've had to process and heal and let go of. And all of that has made me truly who I am so that I can be more effective or more prepared to help others. And I know Richie's got his own story in some of that. We just all have had different journeys, but I love the fact that you had an awakening last year, and all of those things have brought you to right here, right now, with all the modalities of what you can offer and how you can truly help so many people in doing that. So let's dig into that. Tell us about what is your favorite modality right now that you're offering?
My favorite modality out of everything is QHHT or BQH, but I kind of I combined both, but in my own way, with my own guided from the spirit guides. I asked I asked my spirit guides on how I could combine everything, and I created this incredible modality between the two, and I just call it quantum healing because that's what it is. And that's my favorite because I can do it remotely, I can do it in person, and it creates the greatest level of healing, the internal healing. It can be physical or emotional. It allows people to really work through their issues, and I have seen people that are broken inside, not necessarily physically, but broken inside with severe depression, anxiety, PTSD, everything. They come to me broken inside, and they leave a new person. They leave ready to take on the world. They leave ready to just step into themselves and really be who they're supposed to be instead of being stuck in who they were with that depression, anxiety.
Can you talk a little, because I don't really know anything about quantum healing. Like I'm Reiki certified, but like how would I understand it based on what Reiki is and how is it different?
Well, it's so everything is energy, right? And so, but
Hmm.
with quantum healing, you're using all of the energy all around you. That's really what it is. It's I view it as Reiki. I view it as the same thing, except instead of thinking that we're using the energy around us to heal someone, you're using the energy all around. You're using everything all at
Okay,
once.
gotcha.
Um,
Are you the channel of the energy? Is it going through you?
it feels like it's going through the hands, but it's coming through the quantum field, through everything, through the energy all around us, not just myself, but everything all
Yes.
around. But
Okay.
with the quantum healing hypnosis, that's different because what you're doing is you're putting someone in a trance. So you have four different levels of brain waves that you go throughout the day, right? And alpha is one of them. It's just a deep relaxation. It's just a relaxing state.
Hmm.
You can do that when you're watching a very good movie and you're very into it, or you're very focused on something and you kind of put yourself in a trance, and that's an alpha state. Um, Beta is when you are awake. And like right now, we're awake, we're talking, we're in beta. Delta is when you're sleeping. And theta is when you are in a very deep trance. And when you're in a very deep trance, you're able to connect a little bit further into, for example, past lives, or you can talk to reach your higher self, as you would
Mm.
say. And your higher self is not some kind of spirit, it's you. It's just you. You can talk to a side of you that knows everything about you, instead of, with us in within our bodies. And what they always say is that your soul is not in your body, the body is in the soul, right? And so it's that part of you that is not all there in the physical body, right? The physical body, you have a veil, you forget who you are. Well, there's a part of you that hasn't forgotten, and that's the higher self. And so that part of you is the part that talks to the guides, the part that talks, that can talk to other spirits and see everything that is going on. It's that little voice in your head that you're like, where did that come from? Everybody experiences that throughout their lives, right? You have an idea that just comes up out of nowhere, or you're inspired by something, and you're like, oh wow, that sounds interesting. Like, where did that come from? Like, that idea just popped in my head. It's your higher self talking to you. So what I do is I connect that person to their higher self. And so when that happens, the higher self talks, and they talk in the third person, because they start talking about the person that I'm hypnotizing, um, as the third person. Like, oh, this person, oh, she's anxious all the time, or I try to talk to her all the time and she doesn't listen, or it becomes like a third person. It's really interesting. But
Does
then
the client remember that part, or do you have to relay the
sometimes they
conversation
do,
later?
and a lot of times they don't.
I would imagine that they don't.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. And the information that comes through it is incredible. And so the greatest level of healing happens when you're talking to that higher self, because then you say, okay, so what is blocking this person? What is causing this person to be stuck and not able to move forward? And then they're able to provide that information to you, and then you can work with the higher self to be able to step forward and move on from what was holding them back. Sometimes even physical healing. I've had a lot of people do physical healing, and they'll feel, something going on in their shoulder, and it's, like, you see the shoulder moving, or, and I'm
Oh.
going through their body, like, okay, so let's do like a body scan. What's going on in their body? And they'll do it, and they'll feel like all of a sudden the body starts moving, and it's like, so what are you doing to the body right now? And I'm talking to the higher self, And the higher self is telling me, okay, well, I'm in this part of the body and I'm trying to align the energy, or I'm trying to align the cells, or it's quite amazing how that happens. And then later on, when the person listens to the recordings, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't remember that at all. Or they'll say, I remember bits and pieces of it, and that was weird. It felt like it was me talking, but it wasn't me. And so it's quite fascinating.
Absolutely, that's very. So how long have you been doing this? Is this since
Since
your awakening?
December. Yeah, since
That's
December.
awesome. So after you're done with them, they're not connected to their higher self directly anymore. Is that correct?
You're always connected to your higher self. It's
But you
just that
just
you
can't.
forget.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's still fascinating. So it is a
You're
sort
on
of therapy as
24/7
well.
with higher self.
You're always with your higher self. You just don't
Oh
know
yeah,
it.
they're there always, of course.
If we would, as a Western society, if we would slow ourselves down and
Hmm.
and just breathe and listen, we would get so much of the download from that higher self and just connecting in. And higher self is always connected to source, right? So you can always be connected. It's just turning off that conscious mind, right? Our ego selves and how we function every day. If we could learn to turn that off more or just silence it long enough to listen to the rest, wow. How many people could be so inspired like you, Licia, that they're hearing things and you have that tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're really flowing and going with that, not just for yourself, but for others.
Yeah, and I honestly, the message that I get is that when the awakening happens, is when you become more connected to your higher self. So basically, you're receiving all this information from the higher self because you become more connected. The veil kind of scrapes off a little bit, and you become a little bit more connected to that higher self. So you're able to get that information from yourself instead of going to um, a psychic medium or somebody else who's like a third party trying to get the information. You're just tapped into that higher self closely.
So, what is your vision or your mission or your real heart center for what you want to accomplish and how you want to impact the world?
So in this in this line of work, what I'm trying to do and what I'm being led to do is to help as many people as I can. So we have a lot of people out there with depression and anxiety. They're stuck and they don't know how to move forward, or they've had an awakening experience and they have no idea what to do with it, and they're so confused. In this line of work, I try to help them the best way I can. And that's my goal, is to help as many people as I possibly can with what I do, whatever modality it is. So whether it is, with QHHT or quantum healing in general, like BQH, whether it is through Reiki or just being a spiritual guide for an awakening. So if somebody comes to me and says, I just need advisement, I need your help to learn, where to go from here. Whatever that is, that's what my goal is for the future, is to continue this work, to continue to expand and help others grow into themselves, grow to become the best versions of themselves and let go of what they're holding on to.
So, let's talk about your book a little bit. Tell us the name of it, and then we're going to talk at the very end where we'll tell people how they can get a hold of you and get a hold of the book. But tell us how the book developed and how the inspiration came for that.
That's another woo woo story.
Those are the best kind.
It is, it is. So the art of letting go, I have it right here. A journey to self healing. So the way it came about was one day, much like my awakening experience. One day I received a message from my higher self saying, the art of letting go, and you need to write a book. And that was it. It was like, you need to write a book about the art of letting go. And I sat there and I'm like, okay. I was just like, what? So I wrote it down. I wrote down the art of letting go on my phone. And I set it aside for a few days, and then it just kept popping in my brain. The art of letting go. You need to write this book. You need to do this. And the inspiration for it started coming in, like the content, what that means, and that's when I was like, okay, I guess I'm writing a book because they're not letting me go, right? They're
Uh,
not letting me go. I'm gonna have to do it anyway. So then I sat down and I got a notebook and I started writing down, okay, so what does it look like? And so I started writing down everything, and so every night I try to sit in meditation, and I asked my higher self and my guides, okay, so how are we letting go, right? So what do you want me to write down? What do you want me to relay the information? And so every step of the way for that book was inspired by my higher self and the guides, because it was meant to be for others who are looking to let go and have gone to therapy, have gone to hypnosis, like regular hypnosis, or have done the work, or they just don't want to go to and talk to anybody. This is for just anyone. They don't have to be spiritually inclined. This is basically for like a general public kind of thing, and it's for them to find ways to let go of the things that no longer serve them a purpose, so that they can move forward, whether it was just a negative experience in the past that caused them to be blocked, or if it was a horrible experience that they felt victimized, and then it kept them in that victim mentality. Anything like that, where it's a horrible experience and it's changing that mentality of things happen for me and not things are happening to me. Because a lot of times we get stuck in oh, this happened to me, I had this horrible experience, and now I'm stuck in this mentality, right? Like I was abused as a child, or neglected, or my spouse cheated on me or whatever, and this happened to me, and now I'm victimized, and now I'm stuck because now I'm depressed. Now I can't date anymore because I'm scared that somebody's going to cheat on me, or whatever it is. That experience, and changing the mentality from to me to for me helps you understand that if the experiences are meant to teach you a lesson, then you're able to move forward instead of being stuck. So in the book, I'm teaching the person to self-reflect on these negative experiences. It's being placed in front of you. Excuse me. So your experiences, the negative experiences, are being placed in front of you, and you're reflecting on them. What could I have possibly learned from this horrible experience? What could I have learned from this experience in a positive manner, so that I can understand what the lesson was, and I can understand, learn, forgive, practice forgiveness, whether it's for the other person or for yourself, and then move forward into letting it go, letting it flow away, and watch it flow away instead of being stuck with it. You're practicing that lesson and the forgiveness, and then allowing it to free yourself and move forward without holding on to the things that are no longer serving you a purpose, because now you've learned your lesson, so it's not serving you a purpose anymore.
So
So
many
does the book
people,
talk about like specific tactics, like do this, then this, then this to achieve what you're talking about? It
Yeah,
goes through
so
how to
there's
do it.
reflection exercises. And so I use the whole hypnosis experience that I have, and I created, questions like, okay, so let's visualize this, and it walks you through the visualization, and then after the visualization exercise, that you sit there and you close your eyes and you visualize the experience, the problem area that we're looking at, and then after you visualize and you're working through it, then you're going to have these questions underneath. Okay, so how did that make you feel? What lessons did you learn from it, and so on and so forth. So there's like a list of questions in each chapter that you go through after every reflection and visualization exercise.
Awesome.
so many people get, when you're referencing stuck in a negative experience,
Mhm.
especially. And when they get stuck, they just cannot see past the pain or the hurt
Mhm.
or the trauma that they're carrying. And all of those recordings just keep playing on loop, right? And so when you're able to help them to see there is a value, there was a value, there is a lesson, and learn the lesson so that we can, let's go step to the next step, right? Don't stay stuck in this
Yeah.
place. How beautiful for people to be able to move forward in their path of progression wherever that's taking them. That's none of our business, right? It's
Mm.
but your job as the healer is to help them to see that and
Mhm.
free them and say, you don't have the chain on your leg, you've never have, you just thought you did, right? And so
Exactly.
unlocking them and completely freeing them is such a powerful life for you to just wake up every morning and say, who do I get to go work with today? Who do I get to go set free
That's so
today,
true.
right? You're truly the hero of the story. Really, it's the people that are the heroes, right? Because
Yes.
they're setting themselves free. But it feels so amazing when we get to take part in such an honorable place to take part in those kind of stories. So thank you for your processing in yourself and what you've come to learn, what you've put together, and that you've listened and been obedient. That is not an easy task, to listen to higher self and then walk it out, writing a book and all these
Mhm.
things. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So walking
That's
it
so
out and,
true. I
doing
think
it,
Yeah.
it takes
Carolyn
courage.
Mice, I forget, she wrote a book about that. I read like how hard it is to just listen and actually do what they're asking you to do. I mean,
And
you
even
have
when
to
you
be
don't know
prepared
the
to be
full story,
uncomfortable. Yeah.
right? Just taking that first action step, the rest of the steps. Like I've always been a planner. Like I want to know from now till infinity what I need to do, one, two, three. But it doesn't work that way. They may only tell you, your guides may only tell you, here's the next step. Go do that. You don't need to know the next step after that until you go do that step, because you're not prepared for the second step until you get through the first step.
It takes
Right?
so much
Yeah.
So,
No,
faith to
no
live
matter
that
how
way.
much you plan, things can always happen and screw up your
yes.
plan. And so the message that I've gotten several times now is that live in the moment. Live
Yes.
in the moment. Now is all you have. And
Yep.
tomorrow is a mystery. And the past is no longer important because you've already learned the lessons you're meant to learn. And so I had to walk through that path, a healing path. I had my own things I
Yep.
had to work on, and you know
Yep.
that there are still things that I got to work on. We've
We
talked
The
all
about
work
have
never
it.
that.
stops.
It
It's
never
No.
stops. Yeah. So
No.
it's just a
No.
matter of
it can't.
continuing that work. We're working progresses. So we're always
And I
continuing
believe
to
that
work
all
on
the
yourself.
stuff we work on, we are now uniquely qualified to go help others work on something similar, or
Yeah.
we have the qualifications now, right? We're like, oh, I've been there, done that. Let me tell you what worked for me. It may not work for you, but maybe there's some truth and knowledge that you
Yeah.
can learn from this.
Yeah,
So
that's a
let's
hard
see.
lesson. I remember like a business coach talking about that, a mentor. Like they like you guys need, he's like, you have to stop thinking you have to learn all this stuff before you can offer service or teach or offer
Right,
value. You just have to
Hmm.
be a few steps ahead of the person that
right.
you're helping, because that's all that matters, because they need to
Sometimes it's the
grow
blind
like just
leading the
like you do. You
blind. I
don't have to
mean,
achieve this milestone of
yeah,
amazing expertise before you can offer something.
Yeah.
right.
But it's hard
Just
to
staying alive.
swallow and believe. You're like, okay, I guess.
And
Yeah,
that was hard for me because at first when I started all of this, I had imposter syndrome, and I'm like, I'm new at this, but
Yes.
it's
yeah.
like you can't have that imposter syndrome. You just have to, again, let go, right? You got to let go of all of that and just say, no, I'm going to step into this role.
Tell everybody how they can reach out to you, whether it's a distance healing or whether it's an in-person healing, or how they can find your book and get that. Give us all those yummy details.
So if you're interested in quantum healing, for example, quantum healing hypnosis technique, or beyond quantum healing, or just regular quantum healing or quantum Reiki, whatever it is that you're looking for, I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. even TikTok, and I have a website called Quantum Healing Heart. It's at quantumhealingheart.com. And so you can reach out to me in there. There's a contact, little email that you can email me at. It's also help at quantumhealingheart.com. So that's how you can reach out to me. And
Great.
my book is only on Amazon, so it's available on paperback and in a Kindle. So if you have like an unlimited Kindle or whatever it is, I think it's free if you do that way. Um, but it's available out there right now.
Tell us the name of it again. Yes, let us see
The
it. The Art
the
of
art of
Letting
letting.
Go, A Journey to Self-Healing. I love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and it's a very short, easy book. Very, very short, very easy read. It's not something that you're going to have to sit down and really take days to read. You can read it in just a day. It's very easy, very, very easy to read. I did it that way for a reason, so that you don't have to sit there and doesn't feel like a burden, because this is not meant to be a burden. It's meant to help you. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's on Amazon and Kindle and all of that.
Well, thank you,
Awesome.
Licia, for being with us today with Richie and I, and being a guest and getting the word out there and helping people to see, feel, hear, understand, and progress on their path. Richie?
Yeah, I can't actually. I think we're gonna have you back on in about 6 months because I want to see what's happening because we're in the middle of the journey right now, and I have a
Yeah.
feeling you're gonna have more to talk about. Thank you so much for being on the first podcast. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, guys. It was awesome doing this with you today.
Got it.
Bye.
Bye.